I was sitting at table 12 where the crystal chandelier light fell like expensive teardrops. And every time the kitchen door swung open, the burnt onion smell slapped me in the face. I didn't belong here. I knew it the moment I stepped into the ballroom, my old heels scraping on the marble floor, while everyone else glided past in rustling silk and French perfume. I'm 28, a pediatric nurse, a single mom to Lily, my 5-year-old who's at home with Camilla, sobbing because she couldn't wear her thrift store burgundy dress to show the prettiest bride in the world. I kissed her forehead, whispered, "Mommy will be home soon." But deep down, I knew this place wasn't for kids. And it sure as hell wasn't for me. My 2-year-old black dress still held its shape, but the hem was frayed like my life trying to hide the broken bits. I was parked near the kitchen, where waiters rushed by with trays of champagne I didn't dare touch, because one glass alone cost half a day's pay. Outside the floor-to-ceiling windows, Chicago glittered in the night skyscrapers, blinking like they were mocking me. "You don't belong here, Charlotte." The head table where my family sat was a universe away. Sophia, my little sister, 23, radiant in lace and pearls, giggling in her groom's arms. My parents in the seats of honor, smiles Photoshop perfect. Lauren, my older sister, the surgeon arm in arm with her surgeon husband, bragging about their Aspen vacation home. And me, shoved to the edge next to the kitchen, where the smell of leftovers and clanging pots reminded me I was just extra. "Charlotte, you came alone." My mother's voice was honey sweet but razor sharp. She appeared beside my table in emerald silk diamond necklace, flashing like a warning. Dad stood behind her eyes, darting away. He always did that when facing his daughter's failure. "I thought you'd bring someone. The Martinellis have a few very promising men." I smiled the smile I practiced in the mirror every morning to handle difficult parents at the hospital. "Lily sends her love to Sophia." I had a shift. Oh, right, the baby. Mom's stressed baby, like Lily was still a mistake that hadn't grown up. Camilla's watching her. Such a shame you can't afford a proper nanny. They were gone before I could reply, melting into the crowd of success. Lauren with her PhD, Sophia with her fairy tale wedding, and Vanessa, my cousin, 7 months pregnant in a custom maternity gown, arm in arm with Tyler. Tyler. The man who whispered, "I'll love you forever" in my ear, then walked out when the pregnancy test showed 2 lines. 6 months later, he married Vanessa Old Money, and now stood there nodding at me like I was some old acquaintance not worth remembering. I gripped my water glass, trying not to calculate. 3 more shifts to cover rent. 2 more for Lily's milk. To my left, a couple bragged about their new penthouse. To my right, a woman flashed an engagement ring, the diamond bigger than my dreams. I checked my phone, 7:47 p.m. 3 more hours before I could leave without being rude. The music shifted to a slow dance. Sophia and her groom glided onto the floor, soft lights wrapping them like a painting. My parents danced next, then Lauren, then the cousins. Everyone had a partner. Everyone laughed. Everyone belonged. Outside, storm clouds rolled in thunder, growled rain lashed the glass, turning the city lights into blurry streaks like my heart melting into pieces. "Dance with me," Charlotte Tyler's voice behind me made me freeze. I turned. He stood alone, Vanessa, probably resting somewhere. "For old time's sake, no thank you." My voice was ice professional, like when I shut down difficult parents. "Come on, we can be adults." Tyler smiled that smile that used to melt me before I learned it was just a mask. "We are being adults." I'm declining. I turned away, hoping he'd drop it. But Tyler never dropped anything. "You know it doesn't have to be like this." I know I messed up, but I shot to my feet, bone-tired of pretending. "Go back to your pregnant wife, Tyler." "Leave me alone," he smirked. "Pregnant wife carrying my legitimate child." Unlike the mistake that cost you med school, the words were a knife. I stood there, should have slapped him, should have screamed, should have done anything but freeze, as Tyler walked away back to Vanessa, who smiled victoriously from across the room, hand on her belly like a trophy. I sank into my chair, hands shaking, fighting tears in front of 200 people who already saw me as a failure. The music turned romantic couples filled the floor. I stared out the window, rain now pouring, and wondered, would anyone notice if I just disappeared? Then I felt the stare. Not a casual glance or fleeting curiosity. A stare that cut through me, reading every thought, every wound, every shattered dream. I looked up. He stood by the bar, tall, maybe 6'3" short black hair athlete's body, under a tailored black suit. Sharp cheekbones, jaw like carved stone, a faint scar on his chin, not detracting, just adding danger. Amber eyes glowing under the lights locked on me, no hesitation. I should have been uncomfortable, but instead a spark shot down my spine, like he'd touched the deepest part of me I'd locked away years ago. I looked away, cheeks burning. When I glanced back, he was talking to an older Martinelli, the family owning half the Italian restaurants in Chicago. A few words then, he moved through the crowd straight toward me, each step a declaration. I'm coming and you can't hide. My heart pounded. I wanted to run, grab my clutch, make an excuse about checking on Lily. But I stayed frozen at table 12 as he approached with the confidence of someone who'd never been told no. He stopped at my table. Up close, he was even more striking. Amber eyes, blazing scar, a perfect detail. His scent cedar and something darker wrapped around me. You've been alone all evening, he said, voice low, with a faint Italian lilt like in old movies. Such a waste. I'm fine. I managed, though. My pulse was racing. Thanks for your concern. I don't think you're fine. He pulled out the chair beside me without asking, sat with fluid grace. I think you're miserable and hiding it very well. His accuracy stole my breath. You don't know anything about me. I know enough. He leaned in, eyes never leaving mine. I know you came alone to a family wedding where everyone's paired off. I know the man who approached you said something that made you want to vanish. I know you check your phone every 15 minutes, probably thinking about leaving. His lips curved, not quite a smile. Where am I wrong? I set my phone down, suddenly aware how transparent I was. You're very observant. Daniel Fioraldi. He extended his hand, palm warm, grip firm, but not forceful. Business associate of the Martinellis. They invited me. I took it feeling like I'd touched something dangerous I couldn't let go. Charlotte Reed. Charlotte. He said my name like he was tasting it, voice warm. The bride's sister. The one who came alone. Word travels fast. In certain circles, everything does. He released my hand, but didn't move away. I have a proposition for you, Charlotte Reed. I should have stood up, made an excuse, left. I'm a single mom with responsibilities, bills. No room for mysterious strangers in expensive suits with dangerous eyes. But I heard myself say, what kind of proposition? Daniel leaned closer, voice dropping, so only I could hear over the music. Dance with me, pretend to be my wife for the rest of the night. Let everyone see you're not alone, not pitied, not forgotten. I stared. You want me to pretend to be your wife? To a complete stranger? Why not? His gaze didn't waver. It solves both our problems. My family won't stop pushing me to settle down. Yours clearly loves reminding you you're single. We can help each other. That's insane. Perhaps. He stood, offering his hand again. But the next song is starting, and your ex-husband is watching us from the bar with a very interesting expression. So what do you say, Charlotte, dance with me, and let everyone think you belong to someone who actually appreciates you? The smart answer was no. The responsible answer was no. The safe answer was absolutely no. I took his hand and stood. One dance. His smile was devastating. We'll see. I was sitting at table 12, where the crystal chandelier light fell like expensive teardrops, and every time the kitchen door swung open, the burnt onion smell slapped me in the face. I didn't belong here. I knew it the moment I stepped into the ballroom, my old heels scraping on the marble floor, while everyone else glided past in rustling silk and French perfume. I'm 28, a pediatric nurse, a single mom to Lily, my 5-year-old who's at home with Camilla sobbing, because she couldn't wear her thrift store burgundy dress to show the prettiest bride in the world. I kissed her forehead, whispered, Mommy will be home soon. But deep down, I knew this place wasn't for kids, and it sure as hell wasn't for me. My 2-year-old black dress still held its shape, but the hem was frayed like my life trying to hide the broken bits. I was parked near the kitchen, where waiters rushed by with trays of champagne I didn't dare touch, because one glass alone cost half a day's pay. Outside the floor-to-ceiling windows, Chicago glittered in the night skyscrapers, blinking like they were mocking me. You don't belong here, Charlotte. The head table where my family sat was a universe away. Sophia, my little sister, 23, radiant in lace and pearls, giggling in her groom's arms. My parents in the seats of honor, smiles Photoshop perfect. Lauren, my older sister, the surgeon arm in arm, with her surgeon husband, bragging about their Aspen vacation home. And me, shoved to the edge next to the kitchen, where the smell of leftovers and clanging pots reminded me I was just extra. Charlotte, you came alone. My mother's voice was honey-sweet but razor-sharp. She appeared beside my table in emerald silk diamond necklace flashing like a warning. Dad stood behind her eyes, darting away. He always did that when facing his daughter's failure. I thought you'd bring someone. The Martinellis have a few very promising men. I smiled the smile I practiced in the mirror every morning to handle difficult parents at the hospital. Lily sends her love to Sophia. I had a shift. Oh, right, the baby. Mom stressed baby like Lily was still a mistake that hadn't grown up. Camila's watching her. Such a shame you can't afford a proper nanny. They were gone before I could reply, melting into the crowd of success. Lauren with her PhD, Sophia with her fairy tale wedding, and Vanessa, my cousin, 7 months pregnant, in a custom maternity gown, arm in arm with Tyler. Tyler, the man who whispered, "I'll love you forever" in my ear, then walked out when the pregnancy test showed 2 lines. 6 months later, he married Vanessa Old Money and now stood there nodding at me like I was some old acquaintance not worth remembering. I gripped my water glass, trying not to calculate. 3 more shifts to cover rent. 2 more for Lily's milk. To my left, a couple bragged about their new penthouse. To my right, a woman flashed an engagement ring, the diamond bigger than my dreams. I checked my phone, 7:47 p.m. 3 more hours before I could leave without being rude. The music shifted to a slow dance. Sophia and her groom glided onto the floor, soft lights wrapping them like a painting. My parents danced next. Then Lauren, then the cousins. Everyone had a partner. Everyone laughed, everyone belonged. Outside storm clouds rolled in thunder, growled rain lashed the glass, turning the city lights into blurry streaks like my heart melting into pieces. Dance with me. Charlotte Tyler's voice behind me made me freeze. I turned. He stood alone, Vanessa, probably resting somewhere. For old time's sake, no thank you. My voice was ice professional, like when I shut down difficult parents. Come on, we can be adults. Tyler smiled that smile that used to melt me before I learned it was just a mask. We are being adults. I'm declining. I turned away, hoping he'd drop it. But Tyler never dropped anything. You know it doesn't have to be like this. I know I messed up, but I shot to my feet, bone-tired of pretending. Go back to your pregnant wife, Tyler. Leave me alone. He smirked. Pregnant wife carrying my legitimate child. Unlike the mistake that cost you med school. The words were a knife. I stood there, should have slapped him, should have screamed, should have done anything but freeze. As Tyler walked away back to Vanessa, who smiled victoriously from across the room, hand on her belly like a trophy. I sank into my chair, hands shaking fighting tears in front of 200 people who already saw me as a failure. The music turned romantic couples filled the floor. I stared out the window rain, now pouring, and wondered, would anyone notice if I just disappeared? Then I felt the stare. Not a casual glance or fleeting curiosity. A stare that cut through me, reading every thought, every wound, every shattered dream. I looked up. He stood by the bar, tall, maybe 6'3" short black hair athlete's body, under a tailored black suit. Sharp cheekbones, jaw like carved stone, a faint scar on his chin, not detracting, just adding danger. Amber eyes glowing under the lights locked on me, no hesitation. I should have been uncomfortable, but instead a spark shot down my spine, like he'd touched the deepest part of me I'd locked away years ago. I looked away, cheeks burning. When I glanced back, he was talking to an older Martinelli, the family owning half the Italian restaurants in Chicago. A few words then, he moved through the crowd, straight toward me each step, a declaration, "I'm coming, and you can't hide." My heart pounded. I wanted to run, grab my clutch, make an excuse about checking on Lily. But I stayed frozen at table 12 as he approached with the confidence of someone who'd never been told no. He stopped at my table. Up close, he was even more striking. Amber eyes, blazing scar a perfect detail. His scent cedar and something darker wrapped around me. "You've been alone all evening," he said, voice low with a faint Italian lilt like in old movies. Such a waste. "I'm fine. I managed, though." My pulse was racing. "Thanks for your concern. I don't think you're fine." He pulled out the chair beside me without asking, sat with fluid grace. "I think you're miserable and hiding it very well." His accuracy stole my breath. "You don't know anything about me. I know enough." He leaned in, eyes never leaving mine. "I know you came alone to a family wedding where everyone's paired off. I know the man who approached you said something that made you want to vanish. I know you check your phone every 15 minutes, probably thinking about leaving." His lips curved, not quite a smile. Where am I wrong? I set my phone down, suddenly aware how transparent I was. "You're very observant." "Daniel Fioraldi." He extended his hand, palm warm, grip firm, but not forceful. "Business associate of the Martinellis. They invited me." I took it feeling like I'd touched something dangerous I couldn't let go. "Charlotte Reed." "Charlotte." He said my name like he was tasting it, voice warm. "The bride's sister. The one who came alone." Word travels fast. In certain circles, everything does. He released my hand, but didn't move away. "I have a proposition for you, Charlotte Reed." I should have stood up, made an excuse, left. "I'm a single mom with responsibilities, bills. No room for mysterious strangers in expensive suits with dangerous eyes." But I heard myself say, "What kind of proposition?" Daniel leaned closer, voice dropping, so only I could hear over the music. "Dance with me. Pretend to be my wife for the rest of the night. Let everyone see you're not alone, not pitied, not forgotten." I stared. "You want me to pretend to be your wife? To a complete stranger? Why not?" His gaze didn't waver. "It solves both our problems. My family won't stop pushing me to settle down. Yours clearly loves reminding you you're single. We can help each other." That's insane. Perhaps. He stood, offering his hand again. "But the next song is starting, and your ex-husband is watching us from the bar with a very interesting expression. So what do you say, Charlotte, dance with me and let everyone think you belong to someone who actually appreciates you?" The smart answer was no. The responsible answer was no. The safe answer was absolutely no. I took his hand and stood. "One dance." His smile was devastating. "We'll see." The first notes of the song curled around us like smoke, slow and deliberate. The kind of melody that makes strangers feel like old lovers. Daniel's hand settled at the small of my back, warm through the thin fabric of my dress, guiding me onto the floor with the quiet authority of someone who had never once doubted his place in the world. My pulse stuttered. I hadn't danced since prom, and even then it had been awkward shuffling with a boy who smelled like Axe and cheap beer. This was different. This was gravity shifting. "Relax," he murmured against my ear breath. Warm voice low enough that only I could hear. "You're stiff as a board, Charlotte. Pretend you like me." I almost laughed, nerves not humor, and let my shoulders drop a fraction. His fingers spread wider, steadying me, and I realized how perfectly my body fit against his. Not too tall, not too short. Just right. Like a puzzle piece I didn't know I was missing. Across the room, Tyler's eyes narrowed. Vanessa's hand tightened on his arm, her smile brittle. "Good, let them watch." Daniel spun me gently, the room blurring into streaks of gold and candlelight. "Tell me something true," he said, eyes locked on mine. "One thing no one here knows?" I swallowed. I still keep the acceptance letter from Northwestern Med in my nightstand. The one I never opened after Lily. His gaze softened, just a flicker, but enough. Regret or reminder? Both. My voice cracked on the word. Mostly reminder. That I chose her. That I'd choose her again. He nodded like that settled something inside him. Good. A woman who knows her priorities is rare. The song shifted slower now, and he pulled me closer. My cheek brushed the lapel of his jacket, cashmere soft as sin. I caught the faint scent of cedar again, mixed with something darker, like aged whiskey and secrets. His thumb traced a small circle at my waist, absent comforting. I felt the tremor in my own knees and hated how much I liked it. "You're trembling," he observed. Not smug, just stating a fact. "I don't do this," I admitted. "Pretend. Touch strangers. Any of it. Then why say yes?" I glanced toward the head table. Mom was watching, lips pursed. Dad had his phone out, probably texting some investor. Sophia beamed, oblivious. Lauren raised a brow in silent judgment. And Tyler looked like he'd swallowed glass. Because for once, I whispered I wanted to be the one they couldn't look away from. Daniel's smile was slow, lethal. Mission accomplished. The song ended, but he didn't let go. Not yet. Applause rippled around us, polite and distant. He dipped his head, lips brushing the shell of my ear. "One more. Then we sell the story." I should have said no. Should have thanked him, walked away, gone home to Lily's crayon drawings, and the leaky faucet I still hadn't fixed. Instead, I nodded. The second song was Sinatra, "The Way You Look Tonight." Of course it was. Daniel hummed under his breath, off-key, but unapologetic, and I found myself smiling, really smiling for the first time all night. He spun me out, then back in, catching me like I weighed nothing. My dress flared, the frayed hem forgotten. For 3 minutes, I wasn't the single mom in the thrift store dress. I was the woman in his arms, and the room revolved around us. When the music faded, he kept my hand. "Walk with me," not a question. I let him lead me off the floor, past the whispering cousins and the clinking glasses toward the balcony doors. The rain had stopped. The air smelled of wet stone and distant lake water. Chicago's skyline glittered below a necklace of lights around the throat of the city. He leaned against the railing, hands in his pockets, studying me. "You're shaking again." "Adrenaline," I said. "And cold." He shrugged out of his jacket without a word and draped it over my shoulders. It swallowed me, warm, heavy smelling of him. I hugged it closer. "Better much." I hesitated. "Why are you doing this?" He tilted his head. "My nonna's in the corner over there, third table from the left. White hair pearls, looks like she could run the Vatican with one raised eyebrow. She's been trying to marry me off since I turned 30. Last week she threatened to light a candle for my soul if I didn't bring a nice girl to this wedding." I laughed, couldn't help it. "So I'm the nice girl. You're the perfect girl." His voice dropped. "Beautiful, smart, clearly raised right. And you hate every second of being here. That makes you honest." "Nonna will love it." I bit my lip. "What happens when she asks how we met?" "We met at the hospital," he said smoothly. "I was visiting a business associate's kid. You were the nurse who wouldn't let me bribe my way past visiting hours. I was charmed, persistent. You finally agreed to coffee." I raised a brow. "That's specific. I'm a detail-oriented man." He stepped closer, the city lights catching in his eyes. "And I want to see you again. After tonight." My breath caught. "Daniel, not like that. Not yet." He lifted a hand, tucked a stray curl behind my ear. "I'm not asking for your heart, Charlotte. Just your time. A few fake dates. Let the families back off. Let you breathe." I searched his face for the lie and found none. Only that steady amber gaze, patient and a little dangerous. "What do you get out of it, peace?" he said simply. "And maybe the chance to know the woman who chose her daughter over a degree. That kind of strength. It's rare." I swallowed hard. The balcony felt too small, the night too quiet. Somewhere inside, the band struck up again. Laughter spilled through the open doors. "One condition," I said. "Name it." "Lily comes first. Always. If this, whatever this is, ever hurts her, we're done." He didn't hesitate. "Done." I exhaled, shaky. Then, "Okay, a few weeks. Fake." His smile was softer this time. "Fake for now." He offered his arm. I took it, the weight of his jacket around my shoulders like armor. We walked back inside, and I felt the shift immediately, heads-turning whispers following. Mom's eyes widened. Dad actually looked up from his phone. Sophia squealed and waved us over. Daniel leaned down as we approached the head table. "Showtime Mowgli Mia? Fake wife." The words sent a shiver through me, half terror, half thrill. Nonna Martinelli, because of course she was a Martinelli, stood as we neared tiny but formidable. She took my hands in hers, papery and strong, and kissed both my cheeks. Finalmente, she said in rapid Italian, then switched to English. You keep him out of trouble, see? He's too pretty for his own good. I laughed, startled. I'll try. Daniel's hand found my waist again, proprietary. She already has me wrapped around her finger, Nonna. Ask her about the coffee. Nonna's eyes sparkled. Coffee, tell me everything. And just like that, the story began. Later, when the cake was cut and the champagne flowed and Lily's bedtime had come and gone, Daniel walked me to my car in the valet line. The night air was crisp, the city humming below us. He handed the attendant my ticket, then turned to me. Text me when you get home. So I know you're safe. I nodded, clutching his jacket. I should give this back. Keep it. He brushed a thumb across my cheek. Looks better on you. I slid into the driver's seat, heart racing. As I pulled away, I caught his reflection in the rear view standing under the awning, hands in his pockets, watching until I turned the corner. My phone buzzed at a red light. Unknown number. Drive safe, Charlotte. Dream of something better than this night. I saved the contact as Daniel and smiled all the way home. The next morning, Lily climbed into my bed at 6:47 a.m., sticky with dreams and apple juice. Mommy, did you dance with a prince? I kissed her curls. Something like that, baby. She yawned. Will he come play ponies? I hesitated, then typed a message before I could overthink it. Lily wants to know if you play ponies. No pressure. 3 dots appeared immediately. I have a wooden horse in my office. Italian, hand-carved. Tell her it's waiting. I stared at the screen, throat tight. She'll hold you to it. Good, I keep my promises. I set the phone down and pulled Lily close. The sun was rising over the lake, painting the walls gold. For the first time in years, the day felt like a beginning instead of a battle. Fake, I reminded myself. Just fake. But when I closed my eyes, I could still feel his hand at my back, steady and warm, guiding me through the dark. I woke at 3:12 a.m., heart hammering like I'd just sprinted a marathon. My phone buzzed nonstop on the pillow, not Camilla, not the hospital. Unknown number. I bolted upright, pulling the blanket over Lily, who was still sound asleep beside me, before daring to answer. Charlotte Reed. A man's voice, low, emotionless. Open the front door. 5 seconds. Before I could speak, a click. The lock popped. 2 huge guys in black leather jackets stepped in faces cold as stone. One held a silenced pistol. The other clutched an iPad. On the screen, a photo of Daniel and me dancing last night zoomed in on my face, a red circle around my neck. Sit, the gunman ordered. No screaming. I clutched Lily tighter. She stirred but didn't wake. What do you want? The iPad guy flipped to the next slide. Lily, at the park last week. Our apartment, Camilla dropping her at preschool. Mr. Volkov sends his regards. He wants a word with your husband. Daniel isn't your husband. We know. He smirked, but he thinks you are. And he doesn't like being refused. They didn't touch me, just stood there, invisible pressure crushing the air. The gunman tapped the wall lightly. Tap, 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 like a countdown. Call him, tell him. Warehouse 17, South Dock, 4 a.m., alone. No cops, no Franco, no one. My hands shook as I dialed Daniel. 1 ring, Charlotte. His voice was hoarse from lack of sleep, but instantly alert. What's wrong? 2 Russians, I whispered. They have photos. They want you at Warehouse 17. Daniel cut me off, voice razor sharp. Don't say more. Put them on. I held out the phone. The gunman took it, switched to speaker. Volkov listening. A new voice said, thick Russian accent. Fioraldi, you have 47 minutes. 1 second late, she and the kids see sunrise from the bottom of the lake. Daniel answered in rapid, furious Russian. I didn't understand, but caught Bratva and treaty. The call ended. The gunman tossed my phone onto the couch. 4 a.m. Don't try the cops. We own people inside. They left the door closing softly, like it had never opened. I sat frozen, heart pounding so hard my chest hurt. Lily still asleep, unaware her mom had nearly lost everything. 3:28 a.m., I texted Camilla. Emergency, get Lily now, don't ask. Camilla replied in 3 seconds. 5 minutes. I woke Lily whispering, let's go play with Aunt Camilla. Slipped on her coat, stuffed her teddy in her arms. Camilla burst in without knocking, face pale. I hugged Lily one last time, kissed her hair, then pushed them out the back door. 3:45. I changed into jeans hoodie, tucked my old scalpel internship relic into my boot. Phone buzzed Daniel. Don't go to the apartment, he said. Underground garage. Black car plate 7K9, key under the mat. I ran. The garage was pitch black, only a few weak yellow bulbs. The black Bentley sat in a shadowed corner. I opened the door, Daniel in the driver's seat, leather jacket, eyes bloodshot. Get in. The car roared out, tires screeching on concrete. Daniel drove like a maniac, one hand on the wheel, the other on his phone. Franco's blocking the freeway. Traffic cops are bought. We have 12 minutes. What does Volkov want territory? 3 financial blocks west side. He thinks using you will force my hand. I gripped the seatbelt. He knows we're faking. Now he does. Daniel glanced at the clock. He'll kill you to send a message. Unless I cave. The car flew over the bridge, wind howling outside. I stared out the window, Chicago, at 3:55 a.m. The city asleep, unaware a mother had just gambled her life for her daughter. 4:01. Warehouse 17 loomed, darkness swallowing the headlights. The iron door was cracked open. 2 Russians stood outside, guns ready. Daniel stopped, killed the engine. Listen, he said, voice low. If I signal, you run. Spare key in the glove box. Don't look back. Daniel, he grabbed my hand, squeezed hard. I won't let anyone touch you or Lily. Trust me. I nodded, throat tight. We stepped inside. The warehouse was vast, reeking of dead fish and engine oil. Flickering neon lights. Dmitry Volkov stood in the center, tall, silver buzz-cut black turtleneck, despite sub-zero cold. Around him, 8 bodyguards, assault rifles, night vision goggles. Fioraldi. Volkov spoke, voice like grinding stone. Where's your wife? Daniel pushed me behind him. She's not my wife. She's a civilian. Let her go, we talk. Volkov sneered. Civilian wedding photos are all over Chicago. You think I'm stupid? Daniel stepped forward, unarmed. 3 west blocks. I sign. She walks now, Volkov signaled. A guard dragged out David, my cousin, face bruised, mouth duct taped. Bonus. This one sold me the photos. 30K gambling debt. You pay, Daniel gritted his teeth. Release both. Volkov shook his head. No, I want to see you choose. Wife or cousin? I stepped forward before Daniel could stop me. I choose. Every gun swung to me. I raised my hands. Release, David. Keep me, but with conditions. Volkov raised a brow. Speak. The 3 west blocks are slated for demolition, new airport in 6 months. Worth 0. You sign a peace treaty, civilians off limits. I go with you. Daniel keeps David. No one dies. Silence. Only dripping water from the warehouse roof. Volkov laughed loud. Brave woman. I like, he signaled. David was released, stumbling toward Daniel. Sign Fioraldi. Treaty. 3 blocks. Civilians safe. Daniel pulled a pen, signed fast on the iPad. Volkov signed. Electronic exchange, cold final. Done, Volkov said. Ms. Reed with me. Daniel grabbed my hand. No. Volkov shrugged. I keep my word, but I want her willing. 1 hour, coffee, business talk. Then she's free. I looked at Daniel. He squeezed my hand, nodded slightly. 1 hour. I wait outside. Volkov signaled. 2 guards escorted me to a separate car, black Mercedes. Daniel stayed behind, eyes red. In the car, Volkov poured vodka from a thermos. You're smart. West block's worthless. But the treaty matters. I honor it. I took a sip, burning. Why? Because I have a daughter. Same age as Lily. He showed a photo, a blonde girl, blue eyes. I don't touch kids. But Fioraldi needed a lesson. 1 hour later, the car stopped at my apartment. Volkov opened the door. You're free, David released. Treaty in force. I stepped out, legs shaking. Daniel rushed over, pulled me into a crushing hug. You okay? I nodded, tears spilling. Where's Lily? Camilla took her to my penthouse. Safe. We drove to Gold Coast as dawn broke. Lily ran out, threw her arms around my neck. Mommy, I cried, holding her. Daniel stood behind, hand on my shoulder. Volkov texted, treaty sent to lawyers. Sleep well, Mrs. Fioraldi. Daniel read it, gave a tired smile. The fake just saved our lives. I looked at him, then Lily. Maybe it's not fake anymore. Dawn of dawn had barely kissed the Gold Coast when the penthouse elevator dinged open. I stepped out with Lily on my hip, her sleepy head against my shoulder, and the world tilted. Daniel's place wasn't a home. It was a fortress disguised as luxury. Floor-to-ceiling windows framed Lake Michigan like a living painting, but every pane was bulletproof. The marble floor echoed my sneakers. Franco's 6'4" shoulders, like bridge cables, stood by the kitchen island sleeves, rolled gun holster gleaming. Ma'am, he greeted, voice soft for such a giant. Coffee's hot. Miss Lily's room is ready. I blinked. Her room. Daniel emerged from a hallway, hair damp from a 2-minute shower, white shirt unbuttoned at the throat. The scar on his chin looked raw in the morning light. He took Lily without asking, settling her against his chest like he'd done it 1,000 times. She sighed, thumb in mouth, and burrowed closer. Camilla's in the guest wing, he said. She'll stay as long as you need. You're both off the grid until the treaty's ironclad. I opened my mouth. I have shifts bills a life. But the words died when I saw the wall screen. Live feed my apartment building swarming with unmarked vans. Another feed, Lurie Children's ER entrance, 2 plainclothes Russians sipping coffee across the street. My knees buckled. Daniel caught my elbow. Charlotte, breathe. I couldn't. They're watching the hospital. My patient's already handled. He guided me to the island, poured coffee with one hand while balancing Lily with the other. Your director got an anonymous donation enough to cover 3 nurses on leave. You're on paid sabbatical. Effective yesterday. I stared into the black liquid. You can't just buy my life. I'm not buying, he said quietly. I'm borrowing time until you're safe. Lily stirred. Mommy, I hungry. Daniel shifted her to his hip. Pancakes. She nodded, solemn. Blueberries, whole bowl. He glanced at me. Join us. I followed them into a kitchen bigger than my entire apartment. Copper pans hung like art. A sub-zero fridge hummed. Daniel set Lily on a booster seat, cracked eggs one-handed, and I watched the Mafia boss who'd faced down Volkov flip blueberries like a diner cook. Franco's phone buzzed. He stepped out, came back grim. Volkov's moving product through O'Hare, testing the treaty. Daniel's spatula paused. He wants a reaction. Let him wait, Franco said. We hit back quiet. His lieutenant's kid has leukemia Lurie's oncology. We leak the donor list. He'll back off. I froze. You'd expose a sick child. Daniel met my eyes. I'd expose me first. But Volkov needs to remember civilians are untouchable, both ways. The pancakes stacked high. Lily smeared syrup on her cheeks. I picked at mine, stomach knotted. Daniel wiped her hands with a damp cloth. Tell Mommy what you told me in the car. Lily beamed. Mr. Daniel said I can have a pony if I eat all my peas. I choked on air. Pony. He shrugged, sheepish. There's a stable in Wisconsin. Therapeutic riding. Good for kids who've had scares. My heart cracked open. He'd researched trauma therapy for a 5-year-old he'd known less than a week. Franco's phone again. This time his face went stone. Boss. Tyler's at the lobby, with cops. Daniel's jaw clenched. Custody papers, emergency order. Claims you're a flight risk. Kidnapping. The room spun. Tyler, using last night's chaos to steal my daughter. I was moving before I thought grabbing Lily. He can't, he won't. Daniel's voice cut like steel. He hit a button. Steel shutters descended over every window, sealing us in fortress mode. Franco stalled them. Charlotte with me. He led me to a hidden panel retina scan keypad, then down a private stairwell to a garage I hadn't known existed. A matte black SUV waited, engine running. Keys, I asked. You drive. He tossed them. I navigate. Lily in the booster now. We buckled her in. She clutched her teddy wide-eyed but silent. The garage door rolled up. 2 CPD cruisers blocked the ramp. Tyler stood between them, smug in a new suit. Daniel rolled down his window. Officer problem. The cop name tag Ramirez looked uncomfortable. Mr. Reed alleges child endangerment. We need the minor. Daniel smiled cold. Show me the warrant. Ramirez hesitated. Tyler leaned in. Charlotte, get out. This is for Lily's safety. I gripped the wheel. You abandoned her before she was born. You don't get to play hero now. Tyler's face twisted. You're shacked up with a mobster. I have proof, Daniel cut in. Proof I donated $2 million to the pediatric wing last year. Or proof I paid your back child support $43,000 yesterday. So you'd have no claim Tyler went white. The cops shifted. Ramirez cleared his throat. Sir, without a signed order. Which you won't get, Daniel said. Judge Alvarez is golfing in Florida. My lawyer's filing a countersuit for harassment. Leave or I call the Tribune. The officers backed off. Tyler lunged for the door. Franco appeared, hand on his shoulder like a vice. Sir, step away from the vehicle. We peeled out. Tires screamed. Lily started crying. I reached back, found her foot. It's okay, baby. Adventure. Daniel directed us through backstreets, eyes on the mirrors. They'll follow. We lose them at the rail yard. 10 minutes later, we ditched the SUV in a container lot, switched to a nondescript Honda driven by Franco's cousin. Lily fell asleep against my chest. Daniel's phone lit up encrypted message. He read, swore under his breath. Volkov's lieutenant just pulled his kid from Lurie. Treaty holds. Tyler's stunt backfired, cops are apologizing. I exhaled shaky. So we're safe for now. He looked at Lily, then me. But safe isn't enough. I want permanent. The Honda pulled into a private airstrip. A sleek jet waited, engines spooling. Wisconsin, I asked. First stop. He lifted Lily into his arms. Then wherever you want. New names, new life, or we fight from here. Your call. I stared at the jet, at my daughter safe against the man who'd burned the world to keep her that way. No more running, I said. We fight. But together. Daniel's eyes blazed. He leaned in, forehead to mine. Together. Behind us, the Honda's taillights faded. Ahead, the jet's stairs lowered like a promise. Lily stirred. Mommy, are we flying to the pony? I laughed through tears. Yeah, baby, we're flying. Daniel boarded last, hand on the small of my back, steady, warm, real. As the jet climbed over Chicago sunrise, bleeding gold across the lake, I realized the drama wasn't over. It was just beginning. The jet sliced through the dawn at 30,000 feet, but my pulse refused to level. Lily slept in the recliner opposite, buckled in with a silk blanket Daniel had tucked around her like a cocoon. He sat beside me, sleeves rolled, knuckles white on the armrest. The scar on his chin looked sharper in the cabin's cold light. Wisconsin was a decoy, he said, voice low, so the engines muffled it. Franco's routing us to a safe house in Door County. Volkov's men are already at the stable. I stared. You promised her a pony. I promised her safety. He met my eyes, unapologetic. The pony's real. The location isn't. The pilot's voice crackled. Boss, tailwind's gone. We're early. ETA 20 minutes. Daniel's phone vibrated, encrypted. He read, jaw tightening. Change of plans. Tyler's not done. He tilted the screen. A live feed, my apartment building cordoned off. CPD FBI jackets, news vans. Headline ticker. Pediatric nurse abducted by mob boss, child in danger. My stomach dropped. He leaked everything. Worse. Daniel swiped. A second feed, Lurie Children's Lobby. Reporters swarming my director. A photo of Lily's hospital ID badge taken from my locker flashed on every screen. He's painting me as the kidnapper. Volkov's feeding him intel to keep the heat on. I unbuckled, knees shaking. They'll take her from me. Not if we land first. He hit intercom. Pilot divert to General Mitchell, private hangar, now. The jet banked hard. Lily stirred, thumb in mouth. I stroked her hair, whispering, adventure baby. We touched down in Milwaukee under a bruised sky. A black Suburban idled on the tarmac, Franco at the wheel. No lights, no sirens. Daniel carried Lily. I ran beside him. Doors slammed, tires spun. Franco tossed Daniel a tablet. Feds issued an Amber Alert. Every airport train station toll, booth your face, Charlotte's Lilies. Tyler's petition claims imminent danger due to organized crime ties. Daniel's knuckles cracked. He's using the treaty chaos. Volkov wants me distracted. Tyler wants Lily as leverage for a payout. I clutched the seat. He abandoned her. He has no rights. Courts don't care about biology when the media is screaming. Franco veered onto I-94, weaving through early traffic. We have 1 hour before roadblocks. Daniel opened a duffel passport's cash burner phones. He handed me a driver's license. Claire Morrison. Photo mine age correct. Lily's new name. Ava. His Dante Moretti. Memorize, he said. We ditched the Suburban in Racine, switched to a minivan. Vanilla. Invisible. Lily woke confused. Mommy, where's the pony? I forced a smile. Soon, baby. We're playing hide and seek with bad guys. She nodded, trusting. My heart shattered. Racine. A strip mall lot. Franco killed the engine beside a dented silver Odyssey. We transferred in seconds, Daniel buckling Lily into a new booster, me shoving diapers into a backpack. Franco stayed with the Suburban drawing heat. Daniel drove north on back roads, radio off. Tension coiled. Every passing semi felt like a threat. His phone buzzed unknown. He answered on speaker. Fioraldi, Volkov's voice amused. Your little nurse is trending. You and save Lily. Touching. Daniel's grip tightened. You broke the treaty. I tested it. You blinked. A pause. Bring the woman to Navy Pier. Midnight. Alone. I give you the evidence to bury Tyler. You give me the West blocks, real ones. Done, Daniel said. I grabbed his arm. No. He ended the call. It's a trap, but we control the board now. Dr. County arrived at dusk, cherry orchards, bare Lake Michigan black glass. The safe house was a renovated barn, motion sensors, steel shutters. Inside monitors, weapons, a pediatrician on retainer. Daniel carried Lily to a room with unicorn decals someone had prepared. She squealed at the rocking horse. Pony. I collapsed on the couch, adrenaline crashing. Daniel knelt, hands on my knees. Charlotte, look at me. I did. His eyes were bloodshot but fierce. Tyler's petition hits court tomorrow, 9 a.m. We have 14 hours to end this. How? Volkov wants a public surrender, me on my knees. I give him something better, Tyler's head on a platter. He opened a laptop. Files spilled Tyler's offshore accounts photos with Volkov's lieutenant recorded calls. Tyler selling my location for $500K. My breath hitched. You had this insurance. He closed the lid. We leak it anonymously. Tyler's arrested for conspiracy. Petition dies. But Volkov still wants blood. Midnight, Navy Pier. Fog rolled off the lake, neon blurred. Daniel wore a hoodie, no suit street, not kingpin. I insisted on coming. He relented only if I stayed in the van with Franco and a sniper rifle. The pier was deserted, Ferris wheel frozen. Volkov waited on the dock fur collar, 4 guards. Daniel approached, unarmed hands visible. I watched through night vision, heart in throat. Volkov smiled. Where's the nurse? Safe? Daniel stopped 10 feet away. Evidence first. Volkov tossed a USB. Daniel caught it. Tyler's done, Volkov said. Now the blocks. Daniel plugged the drive into a tablet, files loaded. He nodded. Signed. He tossed a second drive. Volkov caught it, frowned. This is your lieutenant's confession. He sold you out to the feds. You're the one who's done. Volkov's face darkened. Guards raised weapons. Daniel didn't flinch. Shoot me the drive, auto uploads to FBI, Interpol, every news outlet. Your empire burns. Standoff, wind howled. My finger hovered over the rifle trigger. Volkov laughed, cold, surprised. You grew balls, Fioraldi. Learned from the best. Daniel stepped back. Treaty holds. Civilians untouchable. We walk. Volkov holstered his gun. For now. Daniel turned, walked away. No shots. I exhaled shakily. Back at the barn, 3 a.m., news alerts exploded. Tyler Reed arrested, conspiracy, extortion, child endangerment. The Amber Alert canceled. My name cleared. Lily slept through it all. Daniel found me on the porch lake, air sharp. He wrapped a blanket around us. It's over, he said. I leaned into him. Is it? He kissed my temple. No, but the worst is. Dawn painted the orchards pink. Lily ran out, rocking horse in tow. Mommy, Mr. Daniel said we can stay forever. I looked at him. He shrugged, eyes soft. Forever's a start. I took his hand. The drama wasn't done, it never would be. But for the first time, I wasn't fighting alone. The barn's shutters rolled up at sunrise, letting in a wash of cold November light across the orchards. I stood on the porch in Daniel's hoodie coffee, steaming in my hands, watching Lily chase Franco's German shepherd through the frost. She wore the tiny riding boots he'd overnighted from Madison Pink scuffed already. Daniel stepped behind me, arms circling my waist. She's up early. She thinks every day is Christmas now. I leaned back into his chest. We can't stay in hiding forever. We're not hiding. He rested his chin on my head. We're choosing. Inside the kitchen smelled of bacon and cinnamon. Camilla flipped pancakes while Franco set the table with real silver, someone's idea of normal. Lily climbed into her booster syrup on her chin before the plate arrived. Daniel's phone buzzed. He glanced, then slid it to me. FBI Chicago Field Office. Tyler Reed arraigned. Bail denied. Full confession on Volkov payments. Your statement sealed. I exhaled. It's really over. For him. Daniel poured orange juice. Court hearings Monday. Emergency custody petition dismissed. You're free to go home. Home. The word tasted foreign. My apartment had been ransacked by reporters. The hospital had placed me on indefinite leave for safety. Lily tugged my sleeve. Mommy, can Mr. Daniel come live with us? Daniel choked on coffee. Camilla hid a grin behind her mug. I knelt to Lily's level. Sweetie, Mr. Daniel has his own house. But he said the pony needs a yard. She pointed out the window where a trailer was unloading a Shetland real dapple gray ribbon on its mane. Daniel shrugged, sheepish. Therapeutic program starts next week. She needs consistency. Consistency. The man who'd rerouted jets and burned empires now spoke like a suburban dad. After breakfast, he led me to the loft office monitors, dark weapons locked. A single file waited on the desk. Relocation options. 1. Vancouver. New IDs pediatric wing job offer Ocean View. 2. Tuscany. Family Villa Nona included Lily in Italian preschool. 3. Chicago. Penthouse security detail my job back his world. I traced the third line. You'd let me choose. I'd follow you anywhere. His voice was rough. But Lily needs roots. And I need... He stopped, jaw tight. Need what? He pulled a small velvet box from his pocket, set it between us. Not an engagement ring too soon. Inside a tiny gold necklace, a horse charm. For Lily. I need you to stop looking over your shoulder, he said. Marry me when you're ready. Fake's over. This is real. My throat closed. Daniel, or don't, just stay. Let me build the life you deserve. I closed the box. I choose Chicago, but on my terms. His smile was slow relieved. Name them. Monday, 9 a.m., Cook County Courthouse. I walked in wearing the navy suit I'd bought for Lily's first preschool graduation professional armor. Daniel waited in the gallery, tie-perfect hands folded. No bodyguards visible. The judge, a woman sharp-eyed, reviewed the file. Tyler shuffled in orange jumpsuit cuffs clinking. He didn't look at me. Ms. Reed, the judge said, your ex-husband waived all parental rights at birth. His current petition is dismissed with prejudice. Full custody remains yours. Mr. Reed is barred from contact for 10 years. Gavel, done. Outside, reporters swarmed. Daniel shielded us with an umbrella rain had started. A microphone thrust toward Lily. Back off, he growled. The crowd parted. In the car, Lily clutched her new necklace. Mommy, are we going home? To the penthouse, I said. For now. The city blurred past Lakeshore Drive, the hospital's glass tower. My phone pinged. Director Patel. Welcome back. Your shift starts Wednesday. Private office ready. Daniel laced his fingers through mine. Proud of you. Wednesday, 7 a.m., Lurie Children's. I badge in white coat crisp. The ER buzzes same chaos new eyes on me, whispers. That's the nurse from the news. My first patient, a 4-year-old with asthma mom, frantic. I kneel, check vitals, calm them both. Muscle memory. At lunch, Daniel appears in the cafeteria suit, no tie, holding a paper bag. Thought you'd need fuel. Inside turkey sandwich apple note in Lily's scrawl. Mommy is a hero. I laugh, tears pricking. He sits. Volkov's lieutenant flipped. Full immunity. Bratva's Chicago ops are gutted. And you, legit restaurants only. The rest, retired. He shrugs. Nona's thrilled, says I'm finally respectable. Evening, penthouse. Lily's asleep in her unicorn room. I find Daniel on the balcony city lights reflecting in his eyes. I hand him a key the spare to my old apartment. Lease ends next month. I'm giving it up. He turns it over, understanding. I step close. I'm ready. I take the velvet box from my pocket horse charm now on a chain around my neck. For real. He drops to one knee rein, starting again. This time the ring is simple white gold single diamond. Charlotte Reed, will you? Yes. He slides it on. It fits. Behind us, the door creaks. Lily pads out in footy pajamas, rubbing eyes. Did Mr. Daniel ask yet? Daniel scoops her up. She said yes. Lily squeals, throws her arms around us both. Later in bed, city humming below, Daniel traces the ring. Tomorrow, he murmurs, we pick out a bigger place. Yard, pony shed, room for more kids. I laugh into his shoulder. Slow down, mob boss. Never. He kisses me slow, certain. Outside, Chicago keeps moving. Inside, we're still. The drama didn't end. It just changed shape into mortgage papers, preschool applications, wedding venues with Nona's input. But for the first time, the chaos feels like ours. The penthouse elevator opened onto a new kind of chaos, moving boxes labeled Lily's toys, Charlotte's books, Daniel's suits do not crush. It was Saturday, 3 weeks after the courthouse, and the Gold Coast was officially too small for us. Daniel stood in the foyer, sleeves rolled, directing 2 movers like a conductor. Kitchen left, nursery right. Fragile sticker means fragile. Lily darted between legs, unicorn helmet on yelling pony room needs hay. I laughed, coffee sloshing. We're not bringing the pony inside, baby. Daniel caught her mid-run, hoisted her onto his shoulders. Hay stays in the stable, Principessa. But the rocking horse gets the corner window. Franco appeared, arms full of garment bags. Nona's on the jet from Tuscany. ETA 2 hours. She's bringing limoncello and opinions. Daniel groaned. Opinions first, liquor second. I kissed Lily's cheek, then Daniel's. I have to be at the hospital by 9. Parent-teacher conference at 3. You're on pony trailer duty. He saluted. Copy that, Nurse Reed. The new house, Lincoln Park brownstone, 4 bedrooms, backyard big enough for a Shetland, was a compromise. Close to Lurie Children's, far from the old life. Closing was Monday. Today was moving day. Lurie Children's, 9:15 a.m. My office, real walls, nameplate. Charlotte Reed, RN, pediatric trauma coordinator. Felt surreal. Director Patel greeted me with a hug. Welcome to the promotion you earned twice over. First case, 6-year-old with leukemia, relapsed. Mom hadn't slept in days. I sat on the bed, held her hand, explained the new trial in words she could carry. The kids smiled when I promised a visit from the pony man. Lunch in the courtyard. Daniel texted a photo, Lily on the Shetland in the empty backyard helmet, askew Franco, holding the lead rope like a nervous uncle. Daniel. She named it Sparkles. Nonna wants to rename it Prosecco. I snorted. Me or Sparkles stays. 300 p.m. Lily's preschool. The teacher, Ms. Rivera, beamed. Lily's adjusted beautifully. She talks about Mr. Daniel nonstop. Says he reads 3 stories and hides the broccoli and meatballs. Daniel in the tiny chair beside me flushed. Guilty. Ms. Rivera slid over a drawing stick figure, family me in scrubs, Daniel with a scar, Lily on a pony. Underneath in purple crayon. My forever family. I teared up. Daniel squeezed my hand. Evening, the brownstone. Boxes everywhere, but the kitchen was unpacked. Copper pans hung sub-zero humming. Camilla stirred marinara, while Nonna, tiny fierce pearls gleaming, critiqued. Too much garlic, bambina. Daniel, you let her cook. Daniel, apron tied, grinned. She's the boss, Nonna. Lily set the table with plastic cutlery. For Sparkles' welcome party. Nonna raised a brow. The horse eats inside. Only cake, Lily declared. Dinner was chaos and perfection, pasta laughter. Nonna's limoncello watered for Lily. Tyler's name never came up. His trial was set for spring. His parental rights terminated. He was a ghost. After Lily crashed on the couch, Daniel found me in the backyard. The city glowed beyond the fence. Sparkles munched hay in a temporary pen. He wrapped arms around me from behind. Housewarming gift. He handed me a key, old brass, engraved, Read Fioraldi. For the front door, he said. Official merge. Monday, we file the paperwork. I turned in his arms. You're sure the Mafia retirement, the pony, the minivan life? He laughed, the sound warm. I traded empires for bedtime stories. Best deal I ever made. Inside, Nonna tucked Lily in singing an Italian lullaby. Camilla snapped photos. Franco pretended not to wipe his eyes. Later, in our bedroom box's still-taped mattress on the floor, Daniel traced the ring on my finger. Tomorrow, he murmured, we pick paint colors and a date. I kissed him slow. June, Lily wants to be flower girl. He smiled against my lips. June it is. The city hummed outside, but inside the house was quiet. Our house. Our life. The drama hadn't vanished. It lived in Nonna's opinions, in Lily's endless questions in the security system Daniel still checked twice. But it was ours now, chosen, built, and for the first time, the future felt bigger than the past. Saturday morning in June bathed Lincoln Park in gold. Our 4-story brownstone glowed with white pennants and hydrangea garlands. In the backyard, Sparkles wore a sky blue bow, while Lily solemnly tied a rose into his mane. I stood before the master bedroom mirror in a simple silk gown ivory V-neck pooling at my feet. Camilla zipped me up. No crying, she warned, eyes already red. Fresh mascara. I laughed, shaky, no promises. Knock. Daniel stepped in dove-gray suit hydrangea boutonniere. He froze, breath-catching. Charlotte. No crying, Camilla repeated, then sniffled herself. Daniel crossed the room, cupped my face. You're so beautiful, I forgot my vows. I took his hand, read them, Mafia man. He smiled, eyes shining. 10:47 a.m. backyard. Long tables, white chairs, flowers everywhere. Nonna sat front row silk shawl, Italian fan in hand. Franco in a suit, no visible holster for once. Music swelled. The way you look tonight, our first dance. Lily led the procession in blush pink tulle basket, overflowing with rose petals. She scattered them with grave concentration, then bolted into Daniel's arms at the aisle's end. You did perfect, he whispered, kissing her curls. I stepped out. My father, first time in years, offered his arm. His grip trembled. You deserve this, Charlotte. Daniel waited at the altar, eyes locked on me. When Dad placed my hand in his, Daniel bowed, respectful, genuine. The officiant smiled. We begin. Vows were short, self-written. Daniel. Charlotte. You chose me when I only had pretend. You stayed when I had truth. I vow to protect, to listen, to hide vegetables and meatballs for life. Laughter rippled. Lily cheered. I love meatballs. Me. Daniel, you taught me strength isn't fearlessness. It's being terrified and stepping forward anyway. You are home. For me, for Lily, for us. Efficient rings. Lily dashed up velvet box on both palms. She opened it, 2 white gold bands engraved inside, C and L and D, year 6.26. Daniel slid mine on. I slid his. You may kiss the bride. He kissed me slow, deep, like that first balcony under rain. Lily wedged between us, arms around both necks. Reception began. Long tables, pasta. Nonna supervised 3-tier pony-shaped cake, limoncello watered down for kids. Lauren toasted. To my sister, who taught me family isn't blood, it's choice. Sophia hugged me. Proud of you. Vanessa, divorced from Tyler, brought her newborn. Thank you for showing him his mistake. Sunset. Daniel led me to the rooftop where he proposed in the rain. Now string lights twinkled, music slowed. Dance with me, he said. Last time as fiancé. I pressed into him. Wife now. Still the first. We swayed, same song, same steps, but no pretend. Lily ran up, tugging Franco. Uncle, dance with me. Franco man, who once broke arms, twirled, her gently face flushed. Daniel whispered, look, family. I nodded, tears falling. 11:11 p.m. Guests gone. Lily asleep in her new room. Sparkles clopping in his paddock. Daniel and I lay on the rooftop blanket, stars above. Regrets, he asked. Old apartment, old life. I laced fingers with his. I have everything. He kissed my ring. Once a day, remember. Dance or kiss. Both. He pulled me up, played the song from his phone. The way you look tonight. We danced again under stars over sleeping Chicago. Below, Nonna sang Lily an Italian lullaby. Franco locked the gate. Camilla turned off lights. The house fell quiet but full. From table 12 from a rainy night from Pretend to Hear. A single mom, a mafia boss, a little girl and her pony.